A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Cargoni, and joining me, as always, the who-jib to my Lashby, it's John Campbell.
Hello, everybody. Oh, man. Are we in it this week?
Have you ever gotten so far into a series that you have those, like, best of episodes where they bring back all the familiar faces and everyone's like, I know that thing. But what if we did that, but only after 10 issues?
I know, I do like the idea about just like, oh, look, it's a who's who of the last, third of the comics we've been reading. Man, and also like some of the goofiest shit that's been introduced into the Star Wars universe is back.
Yep, strap in, y'all. We are covering issue number 77 of the Marvel Comics Star Wars opus, if you will.
I won't. I choose not to.
Oh, you choose not to. Okay, fair enough. But yes, we've got a lot of the same creatives as we have before. This issue was out in November of 1983. We are just trucking on past Return of the Jedi. It's still doing very well in theaters, but this comic is just like, Return of the Jedi, what's that? Let's keep telling this weird story.
It is like, did they get out over their skis on this and just be like, oh, we committed way too much to this story. Oh, Jesus.
I don't know where this Tay Vanis guy is, but we gotta figure it out.
Wait a minute, it came out? Oh, no. When did that happen? 2 months ago?
This issue was written by Joe Duffy, penciled by Ron Frenz. We got inks on Tom Palmer, colors on Glennis Oliver, back then Ween, and letters by Joe Rosen.
Yes.
We have some editors in there as well. Let's not worry about them for now, because clearly they had nothing to do with this issue.
Oh, no, someone's asleep at the wheel with Star Wars at this point. What? We printed what? Oh, God. Hey, Jim Shooter, you actually reading this?
Yeah. So let's get into the cover, because I mentioned Lashby's at the top, and guess who's back?
Oh my God! I mean, number one, Lashby's are back, and just so many who jibs.
Many who jibs.
Stop with the who jibs. I'm not going to say I forgot about the who jibs, but they really haven't been very important to the comic in quite a while.
Have they ever? I mean, I guess they were important to the comic for a couple of issues when they were introduced.
For a while, all the Arbra stuff was just like there were at least who jibs about, but we've been off Arbra for so long that I was like, oh God, the who jibs.
Well, this comic's not going to let you forget about the who jibs, John. It's not going to let you forget about any goddamn thing.
No, it really is like, I hope you've been reading everything, folks. Otherwise, you are lost.
I don't know about lost, but it's definitely like there are moments in this issue where it like has panels featuring featured extras, and it's clear the comic wants you to recognize what's happening. But if you don't know, you're just like, okay, we're just lingering here for reasons I don't.
Yeah, I guess it's just maybe you're not lost, but it's gonna read very awkwardly to you.
It is. And look, this is a long, proud tradition in Star Wars, because let us all not forget that scene in the Solo movie where the movie stops and suddenly Darth Maul is back, and half the theaters who have not been watching TV shows of any shape or size have gone, wait, what? Didn't that guy get chopped in half? Meanwhile, us nerds are going, woo, that guy!
Yeah, with his cool robot legs, baby. That you're talking about my dad. When I saw it with my dad, and he was like, "That was Darth Maul. He definitely got cut in half last I saw him." I'm like, "Oh, Dad, you need to watch the animated program." I will not. No.
And he represented the majority voices of the viewing public.
No, my dad isn't that, but he is just like, I should, and you just go like, "You never are, Dad." That's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, let's not forget the Lashbys, though. Of this cover, we've got our fully grown Lashby monster. It's a big, furry, Sasquatch-looking guy.
Lest we forget, these things start out as cute little like cat creatures and then turn into Yetis.
And one of said Yetis is threatening a certain Luke Skywalker, which I do want to point out this particular cover because we got Luke Skywalker in profile with his green lightsaber, which has not been seen in this comic and maybe won't until after the actual movie in which he gets his green lightsaber.
Yes. Now, of course, we know that there was a scene shot of him building the lightsaber that then got cut. So in the actual movie that came out, the green lightsaber just appears.
Right.
So the comic, it's an interesting thing, right? Because it's like the comic has either the movie is out at this point, but even if you saw the posters, he has a green lightsaber on it. Mm-hmm. So they're like, we better put that green lightsaber in, but we can't reveal its origins. We don't feel confident enough to be like, we'll make up the origin of it. So he'll just have it.
Well, John, don't worry about it because he's not going to actually have a lightsaber in this issue. It's just
that's the thing that's actually very funny is that the comic doesn't even include the lightsaber in the story.
I will say this much. We've complained in this particular era of the book about like Luke just having a lightsaber because the action figure comes with a lightsaber. So Luke has to have a lightsaber.
Yeah.
The last few Joe Duffy issues, Luke hasn't had a lightsaber at all because he wouldn't.
No, and actually, we were complimentary of that because he shouldn't.
Right. Until he builds his new lightsaber, which of course the comic can't show.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that now, with the synergy the way it is, the film people might be like, hey, we're going to introduce a new lightsaber. Do you want to tell a story about where it came from to set it up? Right?
Sure.
Like, they work a little bit more in tandem with each other now, where it's like, if you enjoy they can literally be like, read the origin of Luke's new lightsaber in the new issue of Star Wars or something like that.
Well, and we covered it a little bit in Shadows of the Empire, but that is like a thing that they make up the story for in Shadows of the Empire. Obviously, like 15 years after.
Long after it matters, and they feel confident enough to be like, well, this won't affect anything because they're never going to make more Star Wars movies.
2 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, let's get into it. Speaking of hoojibs as well, wow, we're just inundated with the little fellas right out of the get-go.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I opened up this comic and whoa, hoojibs.
And look, you're sharing the sentiment with C-3PO here.
Yeah, talk about inundated by hoojibs. They are all over 3PO.
And 3PO is letting them know it because he's saying, shoo, no, get away from me, you nasty little beasts, you vermin, you hoojibs.
Yeah, that's our 3PO.
Yeah, good on 3PO for calling the people who are letting them live in their home vermin.
Yeah. Well, the thing I think that's weird about this is that like they've been there long enough that like the idea that they either don't respect 3PO's boundaries or he isn't used to them being all around is a little weird.
Okay, for those who may have forgotten, and how could you forget?
I don't blame anyone who has.
The hoojibs are these pink little bunny rabbit looking rodents that have these like little tentacles coming out of their foreheads like an anglerfish. Mm-hmm. And they have these big white watery eyes, no mouths for the most part, maybe like little dots for mouths. And they're also incredibly powerful telepaths.
They are one of the craziest additions to the Star Wars universe I've ever seen.
And I will say, creature that is incredibly psychically powerful is one of my favorite tropes in like fantasy.
Sure, I mean that's pretty common.
Yeah, you got like what's his name, Mr. Worm from the Shazam.
Shazam, yeah. The all the mind of a massive evil genius, but in the body of a little worm. He's great.
Yeah,
you have to look at him through a magnifying glass, and he speaks through a megaphone. It's awesome.
But yeah, these hoojibs they're here and they're here to stay, I guess.
Well, once again, I hadn't forgotten about them, but they just haven't been, super present in the comic for a while. So all of a sudden, when it's like this issue is lousy with them,
because lest we forget, in this era, our heroes, the rebellion, are living on Arbra. Their base is on Arbra. And it is the home planet of the Hoojibs that the rebellion has sort of colonized after they got booted off of Hoth.
Yeah, the Hoojibs are like, hey man, you can have like that area over there. And so they're sort of sharing the planet with the Hoojibs, who aren't, necessarily part of the rebellion as much as they're just kind of like, hey man, yeah, like we'll rent you some space.
You think the rebellion are calling the Hoojibs whenever the dryer breaks and like, look, it's part of our lease.
Hey, it's your planet, man. You got to fix this. Ah, fuck. I want to meet the Hoojib super,
I think that's Pliff.
I think that might be Pliff, yeah. So yeah, anyway, the other thing that struck me about this, I was like, Chanteuse of the Stars. I was not ready for where that title took us.
So Chanteuse of the Stars is the name of this issue.
Yeah, the name of the issue, yeah. And I went,
now, Chanteuse is a real word. It usually means like lounge singer or
I want to look this
performer.
A female singer of popular songs, especially in a nightclub, is the actual dictionary. So yeah, like a nightclub singer, but specifically a woman. It's yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is the etymology of that word? I'm guessing it's French.
It sure is.
So this is another one of those instances of just like, why is this very particular French word in Star Wars? Because like, it's not just the title of this issue. People will say this word later.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
So I don't know. It's one of those like weird friction points in Star Wars where sometimes they'll introduce a thing that is a real world thing that then makes us have to think about it in the context of Star Wars.
Yes. It is a weird thing because looking at the history of it, it is a French word meaning female singer. Then the Americanized version of it is female nightclub singer. And then now we're putting it in a galaxy far, far away. And what does it mean then? Well, it seems to mean the night because they talk about it. It's really like a film noir kind of like the chanteuse. I mean, look, I watch enough of those movies. There's always some lady singing in a smoky club, and it's a chanteuse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the show I do, and not to plug it, but you can listen to the Tesla City Stories podcast. One of our characters is a would-be chanteuse, is how she's described. So,
John, the fact that you don't promote the...
Well, I can now because as of this recording, the podcast is back.
Yeah, so Tesla City Stories, go check it out.
Go check it out right now. There's new episodes every week on that.
Unassociated with the Punch Up Entertainment Network, but John Campbell's still in it, and it is good.
Yeah, in the Venn diagram of it, there's me.
And Brendan Jones.
And, oh, yes, of course, Brendan Jones, who is not only...
he would actually go apeshit if you forgot that part.
Yeah, since he also directs and produces it and all that stuff. Anyway, yeah, Tesla City Stories podcast is back. Yeah. Anyway, we have a character who is once again, her whole thing is she's an aspiring singer, so we call her a would-be chanteuse. Anyway, all that is to say... that's why I was like, okay, Chanteuse of the Stars. I did not know where that was going and where it went. I was not prepared for. Although it will continue my whole theory about Joe Duffy's writing, which is we have been very complimentary of her capturing the voice of the characters, but often her plotting is very sitcom-y, I think. And I've said this before.
Oh, and strap in because this is a very much like, what if our characters were in this situation episode?
Yeah. This week, Luke and Leia get into a mess of trouble, like it really... Tune into Star Wars, Tuesdays at 9,
Yeah. But we start after 3PO is inundated with Hoojibs in a very Star Wars-y setting. We're in a hangar. There's the rebellion kicking around. Everyone's getting back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all like, "Hey, man, everything's great. We're so happy you're back." Who is this guy? A character? Do they even say his name?
I don't know. I think it's maybe supposed to be Commander Riken, but they never actually say his name.
Yeah, he's just white-haired rebel leader.
You gotta have one of those, right?
I know, but it just seems like it's not like Dodonna. It's not like one of our main guys. It's not, I do think it's funny that Jedi is out at this point, but the comics haven't yet gotten around to putting Mon Mothma in there.
I mean, we would not know exactly how important Mon Mothma would be to like the larger context of Star Wars for years later, right?
True, but I do remember even as a kid seeing Jedi and the way she is presented in that movie, being like, oh, so she's the head honcho. Got it, you know. So it is just generic guy. Anyway,
Sure.
he's just there to go, oh, I'm so glad you're all alive. But of course, Leia is like, yeah, but we're all alive. But like, as Lando says, yeah, that planet we went to never wants to see us ever again. And Leia's like, and we never found out where Tavanis is. Because never forget, this comic is entirely about the location of Tavanis now.
Yeah, Tavanis is a missing rebel pilot who went missing while trying to get some very important information, whatever that could be, back to the rebellion.
I just love this is like Tavanis has become the waiting for Godot of this thing, where he is so important but never seen.
Yeah, and look, strap in, because anyway, I've read ahead. Don't worry about it.
I like that this guy's like, hey, like, Leia, don't worry about it.
Well, because they went all the way to Iskalon, and it was nothing but at a dead end, but
there was a genocide committed. Whatever, man.
But this rebel general's like, hey, don't worry about it. You did your best. That's all we can ever ask.
Yeah. Yeah, look, you all tried very hard, but we actually have some amazing new information.
Yeah, because guess what? While you were searching around for all this information, going to Lashbane, going to Gamondar and Iskalon, we found out that apparently this secret information that Tavanis was looking for got sent to another rebel informant.
Yeah, a super cool dude who you might all know.
And I'm going to show it to you on this view screen on the next page, and it's, oh, holy crap, it's Han Solo.
Well, the second I saw them all look with the question mark, I'm like, it's going to be Han Solo, because there's no one else they would react to like that. And I love the file photo of Han Solo.
It's just the classic action pose of him, like one hand forward, one hand up with the gun. Yeah,
it literally is the photo that they took of Harrison Ford in like a photo shoot, you know, to promote the movie, in like just a gray background. That was just him doing like the gunslinger pose. That's the photo he sends around. Please use that for all my profiles.
And everyone's like, what? But Han, what?
And I like that. I love Lando leaning into Chewbacca going, so that's total bullshit, right, Chewbacca? There's no way that's possible, because Han was no espionage agent. And he's just, and he's basically like,
kind of confirms that.
And he's just like, all right, well, we'll keep that to yourself, because we can actually use this to get resources to find Han. So that, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just shut up, man, and play it cool. Yeah, totally. That seems like something Han would do. You know,
100% legit.
Yeah. And so, you know, they're like, once again, though, I don't love the pose on Leia being like, oh, Han.
Yeah, we get a little bit like dreamy-eyed, wistful-looking Leia.
It's very like romance comics of the 1950s look. Although I will say, one of the better likenesses on Hamill here in the...
Yeah, I think like Friends is doing a good job. He's really nailed it, like locked in on the looks of these characters.
Absolutely. I really clocked that in this year, particularly like I think he's really, it looks exactly like Billy D. Williams. You know, and Chewie has that once again, he doesn't have the weird like Sasquatch face. You know, it's been a while since we had that, but it's burned into my memory.
I think we've pretty much got a lock on what Chewie's supposed to look like.
Yes, I think now Chewie has become the cultural icon that he remains to this day.
Deservedly so.
Oh, the best.
But yeah, Luke is like, okay, it's good to see Han, even if it's just a holo, but like, what the hell's up with this?
Yeah. And Leia is basically, Leia says that, where it's like, look, man, I want to find Han, but that seems crazy. And this guy's like, I know, but we need to sell books. Han Solo tests very well with the youth audience. You need him in here.
what he literally says is, I'm aware of that, Princess Leia, but the
Yeah.
Empire is looking for Han too. And if they think he has the information, then it doesn't matter if he actually does.
Right. And so we're going to divide and conquer here, right? The whole thing is we're not going to give up the, hunt for Tavanis. We're just going to split the search party into sending one after Han and one after Tavanis.
And of course, Luke and Leia are at the top of the list for going after Han Solo.
This is another one of those things where I'm like, I understand that you have to accept this because they're the main characters of the book. You would never send Luke and Leia on like covert missions. They are the most wanted. They are the faces of the rebellion. My God.
Literally in the last story arc, John, that was a plot point. That Luke and Leia specifically could not go to the Imperial-held planet because they would be recognized.
But by God, send them to a place with all of the most important representatives of all and that's crawling with Imperial officers.
That's controlled by Imperial officers.
Yeah. The idea that there would be all the stormtroopers in the galaxy would have their pictures, right? They would be
the like deck of cards that has the like terrorist watch list on it, like Queen of Hearts, Leia Organa.
Yeah, this is
King of Hearts, Luke Skywalker.
100%. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I mean, Jesus. But don't worry, she's gonna put on a wig. Fucking great, amazing work here, folks.
Anyway, they get told, you got to go to planet Cabray.
Yeah.
That is your destination.
Can I also point out that I meant to mention this earlier? Luke and Leia in matching outfits?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Luke and Leia are wearing these like white, I don't know how to describe them, like windbreakers or like ponchos.
I was gonna say poncho, yeah. With belts, and it's just they're identical, and I don't really know why that is.
Because they're twins, John.
Well, yes, there is that now. Now we are linking them.
I mean, the people writing this book know that at this point.
They do know that now, yes.
So, for all I know, that's on purpose.
They had to pump the brakes on all the sexual tension they were writing in, but like 3 or 4 issues ago.
But yeah, they are going to need some kind of cover to get onto Cabray, though. And thankfully, thank God, our good friend Pliff is here to provide support.
Every time this little creature launches into like, excuse me, my dear fellow, if I interject a thought. You're just like...
But as a telepath, I cannot help but be aware of the precise nature of your problem. And as a spokesman for all the Hoojibs, I think it is a simple solution.
Like, anytime Pliff starts talking, he sounds like Fraser Crane. Like, he's always just... Like,
that is the voice I have in my head for Pliff now and forever.
If they ever include Pliff in anything, he must be voiced by Kelsey Grammer, right? Like, it's just, excuse me, my dear fellow,
Or who's the guy who voices Beast on X-Men 97?
George. Yeah, that guy's amazing. What's his name? I love him. Yes, I mean, and those two might have a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but yes, but yeah, Fraser Crane or Dr. Hank McCoy, that sort of voice of like. Just like, excuse me, my dear fellow, if I interject a thought, but as a telepath, like that highly educated, very formal way of speaking, as a spokesman I like spokesman because he speaks telepathically.
That's fun.
Yeah. I see. He is almost just like, can't you all see what's obviously in front of you?
So anyway, we cut to, because we don't get an explanation as to what the plan is until we hard cut to Luke and Leia on the Millennium Falcon. And Leia has some line about like, oh, good thing they gave us the Millennium Falcon, the most iconic ship in this franchise.
So, okay, drawing even more attentions to... I like the idea about like, oh yeah, it'd be too suspicious if Lando and Chewie were flying it. So instead, let's get 2 even more well-known rebels to do it. They are horrible at subterfuge.
Yeah, these super spies, they ain't.
No, 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 no. And actually, to be fair, in the movies they never are either. Like that's not their thing.
No, not really.
No, we have people like Cassian Andor for stuff. I mean, there are spy characters in Star Wars.
Totally.
Yeah.
But anyway, Cabray, it turns out, is a space station. It's a space station where a lot of deals are made, and all the species of the galaxies sort of like cross paths here, all under the auspices of the Empire.
Yeah, it's Babylon 5.
Oh, we can't say that, John. That's copyright infringement.
Sorry, J. Michael Straczynski's going to be on our ass. But I mean, that's immediately what I thought when they talk about like this one place where everybody meets and deals are signed. I'm just like, oh, it's Babylon 5. It's humanity's best last hope.
Yeah, well, sure. And as soon as Bruce Boxleitner shows up, I'll believe that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're stuck with that first captain right now.
I won't believe we're in our first or best until we get Tron. All right.
That is when that show started to sing.
Like many sci-fi shows with complicated plots, the first season maybe struggles a little.
And a huge problem is the guy who's acting like he's a space captain. I didn't know a Buzz Lightyear action figure was the star of the show. All right. So anyway, they're cleared for landing. Okay. We had this discussion briefly off mic. I posit that this is in the running for at least like the bottom 5 issues that we've covered.
Okay. And obviously we've been ragging on this episode on this issue for 20 plus minutes at this point. Yeah. But I don't disagree that it's a not good issue. We're about to get into it, but the main thrust of this issue is some like nightclub intrigue stuff in a Star Wars. And there's maybe a place for that in Star Wars, but the way this comic book handles it is a little over the top. A little.
A little?
But I really I think to call it like bottom 5, I think just completely erases some of the stuff that we have shoved out of our brains because it's so bad.
To be fair, we've read 70-some issues. I may be reacting to that, but I don't know. This is bad in a similar way to the oft-mentioned Darth Vader knows the rules of a planet thing, in that it's just so like a million miles away from the kind of story you'd want to see in Star Wars, for what it's doing with the characters of Star Wars, and that starts right now.
Because remember everyone's favorite character, Dani, the Zeltron woman who was just all over Luke Skywalker? What if she was right here, right now?
Except, of course, then it's because he goes, oh no, it can't be. And this woman that possibly is Dani turns around and says, hello there, darling. Were you looking for me? And then we discover that Luke's a racist.
And all red women look the same to him.
Yeah. And he says that, Leia says, that's not Dani. It's like I told you, all Zeltrons are like that. And then I will say, throughout the course of this, we know that Zeltrons imprint on people, but this really takes them furthest into full-on sexual predators.
And it seems as though there's something about Luke Skywalker that just triggers that instinct in them.
Absolutely. And they will not take no for an answer.
Yeah, it gets pretty stalkery as we go through this issue.
Yeah, it like at a certain point I'm going, I don't think this is funny as much as this is really disturbing. And you're almost like, how did they get to be diplomats of any kind? They wouldn't be able to function at things.
I don't think they are diplomats. I think we're in a like courtesan situation with the Zeltrons here. Because like we cut to this big wide shot of the nightclub that is going to be the setting for the rest of this issue. That is seemingly the hub of Cabray here. We see a mix of species and people spread out across dinner tables. There's a show happening in the background, and scattered throughout are Zeltrons, both male and female, I will say, lounging about, attending to the guests.
Okay. But like I said, they're like, it's debilitating. I mean, like I said, they just, it's too much. It's just too much.
What I'm getting at is I do not think the Zeltrons here are
Yeah,
ambassadors.
Correct. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is not like the Zeltrons. But I also, once again, this is that sitcom structure about like where Leia's just like, oh, Luke, you're distracted by these things. And then she's like, a Zeltron hunk.
And there is a Zeltron hunk that like stops Leia in her tracks for 3 panels.
And I have some questions about the gender breakdown of this because the women are all like, ooh, ah. And then the one Zeltron man we see is just like silent and just like,
He's brooding, John.
Yeah,
his silence is steamy and smoldering.
Is that the difference there? Like the male and female thing about it is they more like, yeah, hey. And that's
exactly.
Yeah. They're all Luke Perrys, you know? Yeah, anyway, it's
they're all Ryan Gosling at the start of his career.
Yeah. I don't, you have to lean in to hear what I say. I do I do like his evolution into funny Gosling.
But
anyway,
we are immediately the seams of this narrative begin to strain as we are immediately confronted with stormtroopers who do not recognize Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, they're just standing there,
and this seneschal here is like, and who are you exactly?
And they're not doing anything really to hide their identities at this point. I mean, not really. They just look like themselves.
Luke is kind of dressed like he'll be dressed in Return of the Jedi. He basically looks like a Jedi.
He's kind of actually in like, this is like a transitionary thing where he's kind of in his Tatooine clothes and his Jedi clothes as they kind of are merging.
You know what he looks like? He looks like that one flashback issue we got of Obi-Wan Kenobi during the quote-unquote Clone Wars.
Yes, he does. Where it's like black with some color, and then he's like, no. All black.
Mm-hmm.
Which I agree is the coolest look he ever had in the franchise, of course.
So, Leia, though, introduces them as representatives from planet Arbra. Yeah. And the Seneschal is just like, okay. So, why should we be letting you into this room then?
And then it's like, oh, it's not us. It's this Hoojib you want to talk to.
And Pliff just invades this man's mind.
Yeah. And just what qualifications do you have outside of officiousness, boorishness, and misguided snobbery? We're leaving, Niles. I mean, that's the most Frasier-y line. Yeah.
Make a liar of me again, and I assure you, the Imperial Governor shall what does it say? Saddle of this satellite shall hear of it. So yeah, we learn that there's an Imperial Governor here.
This Pliff is like, I will talk to your manager. So
Luke and Leia and a cavalcade of Hoojibs, because it's not just Pliff, there's a bunch of other Hoojibs here.
Including one who says, verily.
Indeed.
They're all this. It's not just Pliff. They're all like these high-minded intellectuals.
That are just pink little rabbit guys.
Yeah, verily.
Forsooth.
Yeah, it is. I mean, clearly she didn't create them, but Joe Duffy has continued this idea that they just find this like, could you imagine? They're cute little creatures, but when they talk like sophisticated, East Coast elites.
I speak an mid-Atlantic accent in your mind.
Ooh. Oh, you know what would also be good is get Alan Tudyk and have him do the voice he did for that goat in Wish.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Who knew my voice would be so rich, So
Leia and Luke begin to press their way into the pell-mell, the hurly-burly, and Luke, expressing a little bit of character growth, has a moment where he's just like, man, a lot doesn't faze me anymore. I've been in this Star Wars comic for 77 issues, but this is wild.
This is absolutely crazy, man. I gotta say, look around here. Look at this group. And of course, who's down in there? I see some Lashbees.
Okay, we got the Lashbees here. We got the gargoyle guys from that one planet with not Han Solo.
Yeah. The first not Han Solo. The first of many not Han Solos that will rear their head throughout this franchise.
Look, lest we forget Rick Duel, but
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah.
we also have, let's see, there's some cat people in the background here. We got a Zeltron.
Yeah.
There's just a who's who of, remember these guys?
Remember him? Remember her? I mean, that's what this is. So they're walking through there, and once again, there's another Zeltron going like, "Gee, that blonde guy is cute." Yeah, there is something specifically about Luke Skywalker that makes them all go, ah, da, 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 da.
Well, again, we know that there's like this weird chemical thing where they bond with people that they're around, but Luke just seems to trigger it instantly in Zeltrons.
Well, because there's the thing, the first time we met them, wasn't it that like, oh no, I'm thinking of something else. There was
the first Zeltron we meet is Danny.
Okay, yeah, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of a Star Trek episode now.
Well, that's Orion pheromones. Totally different thing.
No. There's an episode of Star Trek where there's a similar to this. It's a race where you're supposed to instantly bond with people, and it's part of a diplomatic thing where, it's really fucking disturbing that they're like, to solve a peace treaty, they're giving this woman to the leader of a thing, but then she falls in love with Picard, and it's a whole thing about like, well, actually, I'm imprinted on you, but I will give up my love of you to protect the peace of this planet, but know that I really love Jean-Luc Picard. And for some reason...
Picard's like, I don't know what's happening, man.
But the Prime Directive, take a drink every time Patrick Stewart says Prime Directive.
But don't take a drink, because Leia says, hey, remember, don't eat or drink anything here, because it might be for a species that is not you.
You would think that some sort of diplomatic thing like that would have, I don't know, labels on things like that might indicate, because she's like literally, oh, it could be poison.
But that's like an interesting hard sci-fi thing that you never see addressed in Star Wars, is like certain species can't eat the food of other species.
Correct. I like it in concept. I just don't like the idea that it's just like, oh, and it could be anything. It's a free-for-all at the buffet, man. It's either delicious food or straight up poison.
But now we gotta split up, gang, and look for clues.
Yeah.
Because remember, we're here to find the information left behind by Tay Vanis. Or Han Solo? Yeah. I don't know anymore.
I think they're looking for the Tay Vanis information, right?
Yeah, and Chewie and Lando are looking for Han Solo leads.
Although what's weird about that is, once again, at this point, do we not know that Han Solo is at Jabba's palace?
As of this comic, I have no idea.
I mean, the movie's come out. Everyone reading this comic knows where Han Solo is.
There was just a whole thing where we were hunting down bounty hunters because they got double-crossed by Boba Fett, and then that amounted to nothing.
I mean, this whole comic is just like, over here and over there, and did we just Jedi out yet? Oh, boy, okay.
Yeah.
I am very curious to read the post-Jedi issues.
Yep. Anyway,
yeah. So they're walking around. They split up. They're walking around. We got a Zeltron going after a gargoyle guy who, at least based on his facial expression, is not interested.
Oh, look, gargoyles only care for the sky. They got no desire for flesh.
Because he's saying,
and she's saying, no, really, I'm not saying it just to flatter you. Women find men with wings incredibly sexy.
And then you've got the Lash Bees just going around as usual doing tee hee 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 hee, like the little weirdos they are.
Just in case you forgot, we have some aliens in the foreground being like, holy shit, they invited Lash Bees. Isn't that dangerous? Don't they go berserk when they hit puberty?
Yeah, it's like, well, good, but they only invited the ones who are very young and won't be hitting puberty anytime soon. I hope. Remember that. Yeah. So yeah, they're walking around. More Zeltron. I mean, these are like Zeltron. These women are abandoning whoever they're talking to come to Luke Skywalker like a magnet. And he is just like, how many times do I have to say no? And they're just like, we don't care what you think.
Yeah.
It's like anyway. I said, it takes them from like comedic to dangerous.
We also get some more background information as Luke is overhearing some stuff that apparently the Imperial governor who is here is helping negotiate some peace treaties between a couple of worlds and like incorporating some worlds into the Empire. So like there's some high stakes negotiation happening in the background here that Luke picks up on.
Indeed. And he's like, "What's all this?" I do just I like the way that they'll do these. There's like this green guy in the top panel is just like, the scandal has been simple. Like you're just catching pieces of like, oh dear, because everyone here is like, hum hum hum, oh dear, yes, these are elite, you know.
And the trade routes to this specific. Oh, and if we seal this deal, we'll absolutely and yeah.
So he's just like
hobnobs.
And then this guy's going like, I have it on the strictest confidence that the ambassador from Person has had a secret meeting with the governor. And then they're talking about that stuff. And then Luke and Leia both slip behind a secret curtain.
Look, this is a diplomatic summit. And like, there's lots of secrets happening in the background. If we don't have hallways behind curtains that you can slip into, what are we even doing here?
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect opportunity for intrigue.
Yeah, of course. You got to have your intrigue curtains.
Yeah.
So, Leia slips behind the curtain. She's poking around, seeing, like, oh, it's actually kind of, like, nasty and gross in the back of this place when you're off the main path. Mm-hmm. But she encounters Shirley.
Oh, boy. This guy and this whole bit.
So
Shirley and Morty, but it's Morty with an I, so you know it's space.
In space, yeah. And
Morty
is a large-nosed, sniveling promotional manager.
Once again, talk about a sitcom character.
And then we have Shirley, who is some sort of large-haired diva who is refusing to go on stage.
Who looks just enough like Leia if you put a wig on her.
Does she, though? I don't know. Anyway.
Kind of in that she is a white, a Caucasian humanoid woman of a slender, figure.
Yeah, and the facial drawings are... Look, Friends and Tom Palmer, who's on the inks, are doing a fine job, like we said, of capturing the essence of our main characters. But, like... And the aliens all look good, but sometimes when you have like multiple people faces in a comic book, this is not isolated to this issue at all.
Right.
It can sometimes you can run into a bad case of same face. Because you don't have a lot of details that you're working with in facial features, besides like a line here to represent a nose and the basic shape of eyes.
A lot of that is just the comics of the era. Same face is I mean, we talked about this when we back in the... To go even, when we had Infantino drawing it, right? And he came from even the previous generation where there was even less detail and stuff.
Right. So people didn't have different hairstyles. You sometimes couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah, including our main characters. And yes, in the case of this, there's so much more reference for them to work off of for the main characters. And then here it's like, draw a lady.
And I guess she looks enough like Leia, even though it's not super remarked upon, that it fools everyone later in this issue.
So anyway, she's upset because she said, I told you when I took you on as my agent, I don't work freak shows.
So she's just racist, right?
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm just like, isn't this like a intergalactic diplomatic... This isn't a, I think it's very hard to be... alien racist in Star Wars, like broadly speaking, maybe against a specific alien race, but the idea about like interesting, because I just think as portrayed, you're gonna run into aliens everywhere. So let's say you're gonna have a hard time getting around if you have that sort of.
Sure, I guess. I mean, the Empire is like famously human first.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
They do not truck with other species, and the ones that like do work with the Empire are like the worst of the worst, like Thrawn.
I guess, outside of the Empire, I should say. But if you're existing in anywhere else, that's
fair.
It would be tough, just because they're omnipresent. It is such a... I mean, that's part of the appeal of it, right? Everywhere you go, there's tons of different looking creatures.
Yeah, it's a very cosmopolitan galaxy.
Playing this. Let me just say this. Where would this woman be playing where the audience wouldn't be filled with, I mean, I guess Imperial events?
Imperial clubs, yeah.
Yeah. Even though this is technically Imperial controlled, station.
Right. And so she gets to an Imperial controlled station, realizes she's playing for a bunch of aliens, and is
Yeah.
like, that's not what I signed up for.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just important that Leia see that so she can disguise as this woman later.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So anyway, Luke's poking around some back hallways as well. He's looking for private rooms and stuff. And here come more Zeltrons.
Well, yeah, and they're also looking for private rooms for different reasons. And they're like, hey, sailor.
Bam, chicka, wow, wow.
Yeah. I mean, my God, the horniness knows no bounds.
Pliff, or I believe it's Pliff, who's riding on Luke's shoulder at this point.
I think it is.
To tell the Hoojibs apart. That's a little racist on my part. But
no, I think it's on the writers. They do nothing to distinguish them at all.
Yeah.
Or the artists.
But anyway, this Hoojib, probably Pliff, who's riding on Luke's shoulder, is like, Luke, I thought you might like to know. From what I can pick up of those Zeltrons' thoughts and feelings, it isn't just their natural tendencies at work tonight. It's something about you, personally.
Oh, God.
So it's Luke. Whatever it is that's turning these Zeltrons on, it's Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. Whatever pheromones he's given off. Oh, baby.
So Luke runs away. These Zeltrons are like, oh, that's too bad. Have you seen anything nicer since we got here?
I would have liked a piece of Luke.
Yeah, they want to snap off a piece of that Skywalker.
Yeah. So let's see.
Luke ducks into an empty room. Pliff is like, by the way, those two women, they are absolutely chasing you.
And there's a thing where it's just like, once again, no matter what he turns them down, they're like, don't matter what you have to say. This is happening. And
this is when it starts going from like screwball comedy to, this is getting uncomfortable and gross.
Yeah, it's really, like I said, it makes me go like, I think this race could be one of the most dangerous in Star Wars now. If it's this level of insanity.
We haven't quite crossed the line into like Prince Xizor is a rapist territory, but...
Well, because that involves pheromones messing with somebody else's brain.
Right.
Yeah, that takes it to the next level, where you're not only are they driven wild, you're getting into Purple Man territory there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we cut to Leia poking around in some kitchens.
Yes, we do, which is what we were all hoping for.
Why is she looking for information in a kitchen? I don't know, but it's an opportunity for her to do a little spy work by saying, oh, I'm just here to find particular food for my Hoojib masters. I don't know.
Even she isn't fully committed. She's like, for my Hoojib... Oh, who could fucking care?
And so she's like poking around in cabinets and stuff in this kitchen.
Maybe Tavanis' info he left in this kitchen cupboard. It really is just like, how do we show her looking for stuff? I don't know. She's opening cupboards going, anything in here? Nope.
But she happens to be behind a counter as a malicious-looking figure pours something mysterious into a soup cauldron.
It is all just to set this stuff up. This is what I don't like. This is such lazy writing where it's like, because even she's like, I can't believe it. Won't have any explanation for why I'm down here on my knees. Oh, it's only so I can be hidden to overhear this guy poisoning something.
She doesn't overhear anything. This is a thought bubble this guy has.
That's right. And because she can't even see him doing it.
Right. And so, I don't know. This is only for the reader to be like, oh, there's something afoot.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just dramatic irony.
Yeah. This is pretty bad writing. And I say that as somebody, I like Jo Duffy. I've complimented her writing in this, and I have all of her Power Man and Iron Fist epic collections in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will say, a book I think she was better suited for, because that did have like a buddy sitcom dynamic
totally
baked into it. So yeah, I think sometimes her humor just doesn't jibe with Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I do think she is the best writer of these characters at the same time that we've seen. It's a weird... although I did like Michelini.
Yeah, Michelin was pretty good, but it's been a pretty constant upward trend, I'll say, because what we've been tracking is not only people's ability to grapple with these characters and really nail the voice of them, but also that voice becoming something that establishes itself as it goes. Because obviously, when we started this thing, we just had the one movie, so the voice, quote unquote, of these characters barely existed.
You have the movies are becoming more present in pop culture, and I think you're having younger writers who are maybe more engaged with the movies. These are real fans of it who are absorbing, even because like a Roy Thomas or something like that, or an Archie Goodwin probably like, oh, it was good. But now you have people who are really these are people who are really are soaking it and going, this is who Han Solo is. This is who Luke Skywalker is. To some extent, I say this because what they're about to do to Princess Leia is pretty much unforgivable to me. But
but Luke's poking around in the room, and guess what? He found the thing.
I like this just scanner.
It's a little piece of wrist technology that he uses to scan around, and he scans until he finds something taped to the underside of a cabinet, and it's apparently the info that Tay Vanis left, or at least a message from Vanis.
Yeah, he basically finds like a USB drive, right?
Yeah.
And the way he picks it up, though, he's like, ooh, it's is it gross? Look at this.
Yeah, it's been stuck underneath a table for who knows how long. There's gum and crap under there and boogers.
Somebody put their gum on it. But then he has to hide in the shadows because a mysterious cloaked figure has arrived.
Yeah, a small gathering has entered the room, and they're like, so, is everything ready for our murder plot this evening?
I was just talking with the aforementioned Brendan Jones about this last night, about does anyone ever say something to the equivalent of it's all going according to plan for good reasons? They're just yes, evil machinations and such.
Our tax incentives for solar energy are all going according to plan.
Yes, it's all going according to plan. Healthcare for so many. And especially then if you steeple your fingers.
Steeple your fingers and go, yes. Food distributed in hunger deserts in the inner cities. Excellent.
Yes, every child shall be fed exactly as planned. Yeah. Anyway, I just love the idea about these guys are only there. Everything about how they're dressed and what they're saying is evil. And then
we have poisoned the governor's soup. He's going to die.
I also like the idea that they would have to specify that as yes, it's going according to plan. He will eat the soup that is poisoned and will kill him.
Poison? Kuzco's poison. The poison specifically for Kuzco. That poison?
Come on, what poison are you talking about?
Yes, that poison.
Yeah, the best, man. I could use a Patrick Warburton Star Wars character. I could see that energy
coming.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would Patrick Warburton be? Is he big alien or is he just guy?
I feel like he's big alien because that voice just implies. I mean, even in animation, right? He always has to kind of be a bigger dude.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, or he. I mean, the obvious thing would make him like a Kronk type Imperial. You could also do, where he's just like, yeah, I got the message for Lord Vader. That's I got to deliver this.
Or do you go off type and make him like a droid, which I think would also be funny.
That would also be funny, where it's just like, yeah, I've run the computations.
I don't like our odds.
I think the odds are against you there. Yeah. By the way, on that topic, he's been doing stand-up. You can watch clips online. I highly recommend checking out Patrick Warburton's stand-up. He's very funny.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. He talks about his mom as the former head of the Parents Television Council of the Catholic Church, where it's like, she was literally protesting Family Guy as I was paying for her house with Family Guy money. Little awkward.
Classic.
Yeah.
Anyway, Luke, in classic fashion, is going to think at himself a bunch.
God, Luke's inner monologue in this comic, it's just like, man, do I have to rewatch the movies now and think this guy's mind is going a mile a minute?
I forgive this particular issue because he is a psychic is riding shotgun on his shoulder.
This is true. So is this his inner monologue, or is he actually communicating with Pliff?
He is communicating with Pliff because in this thought bubble, he says, "Come on, Pliff."
Okay. All right. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But to be fair, he does think this much, even if he's not communicating with the telepath.
Oh, yes, we've seen this.
Yeah, it's wild how much this guy's thinking.
But he is just doing his Luke Skywalker thing as he's thinking like, hey, I don't want anyone to be murdered, even if it is a Imperial. That sounds bad.
Although I will say, I do agree with that, and I think that's a very moral stance. It is not a very spy-minded stance.
Especially considering he has their objective, right? The goal now should be get out of here.
Get out of there. And like, bummer that guy's going to get poisoned, but the bigger battle is against the Empire and is getting that information. That's it's once again Luke not. I believe this would be Luke's attitude, and it's another reason why Luke would be a bad espionage agent.
Totally. But Luke's about to like make his way out of here, but he is accosted by more Zeltrons.
And once again, this comic, as much as I compliment the stuff, so many. This the sitcom. It's also in the art, the sitcom-y stuff. So many wide-eyed, like, huh? A what?
A brute?
When did Luke turn into Don Knotts?
Right now.
That's a Mr. Furley reaction. But
the Zeltrons are kind of acting as cover right now because he manages to like Assassin's Creed hide in this crowd of Zeltron women as stormtroopers just sort of stroll past.
We do have Luke Skywalker, Master of Stealth here.
The only way Luke Skywalker could possibly be hidden in a crowd is in a crowd of beautiful red women.
Yeah. But once again, his face says, "Oh!"
Yeah, his face is the facial equivalent of pulling at one's collar as steam escapes from below it.
Yeah, he's in a Benny Hill sketch.
If this was a Japanese anime, his eyes would be rolling up into the back of his head and his nose would be bleeding.
100%. And there may be some form of punctuation above him.
Yes, absolutely.
There's just an exclamation, bling, bling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love the two stormtroopers that walk by and it's like, oh yeah, must be on his way to bang those three women. Anyway.
God.
Yeah.
So Luke sort of has to go along with these Zeltrons to evade stormtrooper attention.
And he does get also snickered at by a Lashby who's like, tee hee 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 hee, they will have sex.
Joe Duffy is a very horny writer.
Yes. Yes, she is. And look,
I don't begrudge her that, but it's just something we're not accustomed to in Star Wars.
If you're writing Danny Rand, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I will say, yeah, we've talked about Star Wars, unlike Star Trek, which has a lot of sexy stuff in it. Star Wars doesn't really have as much in that way. There's romance, there's tension, there's flirting, but there's not a lot of like sexy stuff in Star Wars. And you think about even the stuff that is like creepy. It's like Jabba's stuff that's overtly sexual, right? It's usually done for negative effect. I just think that's interesting. Like the Zeltrons feel like, because you mentioned Orions earlier. They feel like just, redressed Orions.
Yeah, 100%.
That I'm saying, like they feel like they belong because Joe Duffy's got nothing on the horniness of a Gene Roddenberry. But to be fair,
they're products of their time, right? Because like Star Trek is so intrinsically tied to 60s. A vibe from the 60s, right?
Sexual revolution, like swinging, hey man, free love, baby. And if you know anything about Gene Roddenberry's real life, he may have taken that, too far.
Sure. But Star Wars, as
Yes.
we've often said, is also so deeply rooted in the 70s. And that is this sort of like post-Vietnam War disillusion with large governments.
In
And
particular,
like,
yeah, late 70s, post-Watergate, post-Vietnam.
but
Hey,
there
man.
is this longing for stuff that came before and a simpler, more relatively like morally unambiguous time, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
that manifests as like this idea of grand romance and not like sexual expression.
clearly defined black and white heroes and villains, literally, and like the villain is all in black, you know.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think that's I think that's an excellent point that they are, you know, Star Trek comes out of Kennedy, Star Wars comes out of Nixon. You know, very, very, very different worlds there.
Speaking of different worlds, Leia is also moving through the employees' quarters now. She is trying to evade discovery as people are saying, like, oh, I saw somebody creeping in around here. And then she suddenly finds herself in a dressing room looking for a place to hide. And the only thing that Leia Organa, Princess of Alderaan, Senator, Rebel Leader, the only thing she can think to do is grab a wig that is on the desk here.
Wouldn't you?
Why is this her move?
I have no idea.
Why is there a wig?
And also, why does this guy think she's his client?
So, because what happens is Leia puts the wig on. She now looks vaguely like that pop star or chanteuse, as we will eventually learn. It's Shirley. And then her agent that we saw earlier comes in and is like, oh, hey, it's my client who I spend all my time with.
Makes no sense. And he's
as
just
Leia
like,
is literally adjusting the wig.
And he's going, and his big move here was like, oh, I just reread your contract and you actually can't refuse to. And then Leia's like, but you, and he's just like, let's get out there, baby. And they really are writing him like this, like, come on, sweetheart, let's go. You know, like this old showbiz, you know, Broadway producer kind of guy.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, sweetheart, let's get out there. Yeah, you got a little stage fright there.
Meanwhile, he looks like a Dr. Seuss character.
Yeah, it's a very weird character. And by the way,
I guess we can write off the fact that Shirley maybe does wear a wig, and that's why her hair is here.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. But the fact that she's in a completely different outfit and has a different face, I don't know. Maybe this guy's poor of sight. That's all I can. Hey, she's vaguely the shape of the blur that is my client.
Sorry, all you humans look the same to me.
Honestly, I wish that he said something like that. But he's saying things like, explain it to me later, chickie. I mean, not only is he this stereotype of like a Hollywood agent, he's like a 50s Hollywood agent. This is a guy who's in a Rat Pack movie. Come on, chickie, let's go, baby. You know? It's like, what?
And you're going to have to spend all that time in dressing. Let me pick out something nice for you.
Yeah, how about it? Then you can go up to Peter Lafford's suite in Vegas, baby. Yeah.
I hear Frankie's got a room down there. He wants to meet you.
Yeah, how about it, babe? But yeah, he's just, again, of course, because Leia's been wearing this very, fancy dress, and he's just like, hey, that rag you have on will never do. Tacky, tacky, tacky. Somebody saying the word tacky in Star Wars is weird to me.
To be fair, we haven't seen a lot in the way of, like, people who are concerned with fashion in Star Wars. I think the closest we ever have seen is maybe in that one episode of Andor where Andor is undercover as a fashion designer. Yes,
that was exactly what I was going to go to as well, and that has like the paparazzi. I love paparazzi droid. Anyway, that is true. And then meanwhile, Luke is in the main, banquet area once again, just being assaulted by these women.
as they're saying, you promise right after the show? Like, the implication here is Luke's like, I swear I will have sex with all of you women
Yeah.
right after we're done here.
That will absolutely happen. You can take that as a guarantee from me, Luke Skywalker, that all of you will be sexually pleasured later.
I mean, look, if he follows through on his promise, good for him, I guess.
But I just like the idea of like, yeah, no, later. That's his big move here. It's just like, yeah, no, we'll get. Don't worry, it'll happen. Anyway, this guy's about to get poisoned.
Yeah, so Luke and Pliff are kind of going back and forth, being like, how are we supposed to stop this guy from getting murdered?
Yeah. Because they go like, here's your soup, Governor.
But then a guy gets on stage and is like, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present the little beauty you've all been waiting for. Yes, singing her way into your hearts and other vital organs, direct from the triumphant engagement on Caesar's planet. See what I did there? Caesar's planet? Because, Caesar's palace in Vegas. Anyway, it's the Chartreuse of the Stars.
Yeah. Is playing here exclusively in the Rainbow Room. Yeah. And he's like, but what? And then, holy God, Leia is in talk about 50s Vegas. She's in a showgirl outfit.
This has to be a response to the Slave Leia outfit, right? It has to be.
Yeah. But made even goofier by, like, once again, taking it all the way back to, at least the Slave Leia outfit felt like something kind of out of space. This feels, once again, like Earth, 1950s Las Vegas.
When you say out of space, what the hell do you mean?
I mean, like, it's metal and stuff like that. I mean, I'm saying, like, it's what I'm saying is, you know what, actually kind of, it feels like John Carter-y.
Okay,
like
okay.
That's what I'm saying. It feels sci-fi-y. It doesn't feel like... This
has sequence on it.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like, this is so earthbound to a specific time and place. That's my point when I say it feels spacey. It feels sci-fi-ish. It doesn't feel like anything anyone would wear in the world we know.
Right. Whereas this is Vegas showgirl attire.
Yeah. I like the nightlife. I like the boogie. I mean, that's what you should be saying.
But it is like a bra and a loincloth and a feather boa and some necklace and bracelets, and that's it.
And then I can't even with what happens with the Lashbees.
Okay, so we're just gonna plow through this because we're running long on this episode, and it gets really
want to know where
Joe
Duffy's coming up with these lyrics too.
Leia starts to sing, and everyone seems pleased by that. Sure, Leia can sing. I don't know, why not?
Well, she did sing in the holiday special.
Ooh, okay. Well, we can't... That cocaine was involved, John. We can't blame that on...
I mean, Carrie Fisher didn't remember doing it, but... yeah. But, so the lyrics are, like a meteor cutting across a starless night, he brightens up my darkest hour. What?
He's gentle and he's true, never tries to force me, oh no.
Yeah.
Which is interesting lyrics considering this whole issue is about Zeltron trying to force themselves on Luke.
I know, yeah. I'm trying to give Joe Duffy the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, what tapestry of a story is she trying to weave here?
Doesn't matter because one of these Lashbees is about to hit puberty right now.
Holy God, this really! I went, oh no.
So what happens to Lashbees when they hit puberty, John?
Oh, they turn into, once again, big Yetis. I like that they're like little cat creatures, but in their big form, they are like Yetis. They're not like big cats.
In the Lashbee issue,
did
we? Oh, I don't think we ever actually saw one of these transformations. So I guess
there was young ones, and then there were adult ones, and that was they weren't.
Maybe I should feel dumb for assuming that it was a gradual transition from little guy to big guy.
I stupidly assumed it was at least somewhat consistent with anything we know about Earth biology of most mammals.
Like that puberty, as we know it, is a
Yeah.
process which takes years to work hormones through a body that increases natural growth and the development of mind, bone, and body.
For the Lashbees, it not only happens instantly, but something prompts it. They get slammed into puberty. And so
look,
he sees Leia in this showgirl outfit singing, and it's like, bam, I'm a man.
there is only one metaphor that makes any sense here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's erections.
Yes. But like, they're instead
this
of
episode is so like, usually I go through the episodes when we're putting them out, and I on the filter, I'm like, okay, is this one safe for children or not? And I'll put those little I'll click that link on the upload on the podcast channel. This one, no, there's no subtext here. It's all text.
this comic. Because they've got this green guy going, but how could that happen? And then Luke says, I think he was overstimulated. You give me any other reading of this, listeners, right now. Tell me that I can say anything other than this guy got super horny and turned into a monster.
So this engorged Lashbee goes on a rampage. An absolutely turgid Lashbee.
That is their erection. They turn into Yetis. Good God. This is what I'm talking about. I stand by bottom 5. I was reading this going, what in the hell is happening in this comic?
So chaos breaks out. The Lashbee's crashing around. Luke uses this as cover to slam into the guy serving the poison soup.
Yep. Whoops, sorry, he says.
Everyone's running away. Stormtroopers are like, don't worry, citizens. We'll handle this. And then their guns do nothing.
Do you need me to bring up the classic comic book thing of this Lashbee's clothes also grew with him?
Don't worry about that, John. We gotta just keep moving. But
Incredible Hulk logic.
By their guns do nothing, what I meant to say is their guns don't fire. It's not like they shoot and it doesn't affect the Lashbees, though we know that would be the case because we've seen these things take gunfire before.
Correct. But I just like the quick oh man, that's right. The Hoojibs absorb the energy from their guns. When did that happen? Did we see that happen?
Nope, off panel. It happened in Luke's top
I
now.
love that idea where it's like, oh yeah, also I forgot to mention that I had them do that. So
I mean, we know that the Hoojibs can eat energy. That was the whole thing with them when we first encountered them.
And they did reset that up earlier where that was what 3PO was afraid of when they were crawling all over him, that they were going to absorb his energy.
Sure.
And then they're like,
but thankfully,
it's one of those stupid things where it's like, silly 3PO. Remember, the Hoojibs don't absorb droid energy like 3PO would forget that,
But it's fine, John, because who's here to save the day? Why, it's Pliff, our friend the Hoojib.
Yeah. And he's just like, Princess Leia, you have to keep it. I like that everyone, multiple times in this comic, she is called Princess Leia by everyone. It's not just Leia.
Show some damn respect, John. Her planet was exploded.
She's a general to me, but anyway, he's just like, you have to talk about Hulk. Sun's getting real low with this song.
So yeah, Leia starts to sing again, and it makes the engorged Hoojib go, huh?
Huh? Pretty lady sing pretty song.
And then the issue ends.
That's it. He just sits and listens to her, and then speaks or thinks a love, a heart, and then Luke's like, "Oh boy,"
surrounded by even more Zeltrons,
and I hate it. I hate it so much.
How many Zeltrons are here with him at the end? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Both male and female, I say.
One
Luke
guy.
is not...
The one guy. They brought the one guy that we saw earlier.
Fair enough.
But I did also like that there was a guy there to imply that it's not a gendered specific thing about the...
Luke has this effect on all Zeltrons.
Yeah, that's some minor progressiveness from this comic. Though I do know that they distinctly put him spaced out a little bit away, so he's not,
Well, look, it is still the 80s, John.
Yeah. We can only go so far, man.
But Yeah, so that's the end of the issue.
Boy.
The fact that next we have Lando Calrissian and Chewbacca the Wookiee starring in The Big Con, but this issue has felt like we've been conned.
I know. I like that the next issue is like, we promise we'll get back to regular Star Wars stuff next week, in next month, whatever, folks. Don't worry about it. We were trying something on this one, everybody.
We don't. The issue doesn't even have the decency to be like Luke and Leia back together for one panel, going like, "And our mission was successful. Good job, everybody."
Nope.
It's like.
I swear. Actually, I will say these last few issues of the Joe Duffy written stuff, they all feel like she just runs out of pages.
Yeah.
A lot of these comics have felt that way, right? Where it's just like, and there's no more. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look, we're in a filler arc, and we've known that for a little bit of time. But this one felt very fillery. And you posited earlier when we were talking that this is in the bottom 5 issues. It's bad. I'm not denying that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. That is my feeling. It's not like I went back and cataloged each of these. But in my mind, this is about as bad as it gets.
I would like to remind you of several of our, like, worst of the worst, as we've talked about here. Because let us forget Cody Peacechild or whatever that weird...
Oh my God, that was awful. And of course, there's the issue that is just a redrawn John Carter issue.
Yeah!
No, I mean, I know. There's a running for last place. What I stand by, and it depends on where you would rank this too, is I think this is on the level of the Darth Vader knows the intricate rules of that planet. I think that's the level we're dealing with, where I'm just like, wait, what?
Have you forgotten about every issue that is exclusively about C-3PO?
Though, I mean, those are real bad, but those are at least like, there are Star Wars things like that.
That's not an excuse.
No, it's not. This the worst Star Wars stuff is, yeah.
I maintain that the worst arc in the Clone Wars, and one that I've only rewatched once, is the droids one.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
With that weird slug guy that's with them the whole time.
It's unacceptably terrible. And that includes Jar Jar episodes.
Oh, there are good Jar Jar episodes. That's the wild part.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but Jar Jar is present for a couple of okay stories.
I actually like the last little Jar Jar arc where it's him and Mace Windu on a buddy cop adventure.
Yes, but I mean, a lot of that, they were smart to be like, put him with Mace Windu.
The coolest Star Wars character.
Oh, hell yeah. He was one bad mother Jedi.
Hey, shut your mouth.
Yeah. I'm just talking about Mace.
But yeah, that's it for issue number 77. We'll get back to more Star Wars next week. I swear to God.
Jesus. I mean, really, that was tough. That was a tough read.
But I'll say this much, John. Strap in a little bit, because while the next issue might be called The Big Con, what it should be called is Lando Calrissian, Master of Disguise.
Well, I mean, I loved when he put on that beret and eye patch.
Then you better strap in for a wig and a different eye patch.
Oh. You know what my big move is? Eye patch. Everyone knows Lando Calrissian has 2 eyes. As soon as I get rid of one, they're like, I don't know who that guy is.
It's like Wolverine dressed up in Madripoor.
Well, he put on a tuxedo and an eye patch. No one would ever know who the hell he is. I say literally as I look at my Patch action figure that's right over there.
And his name is Patch. Totally inconceivable.
Patch. Yeah. Shocking no one. There's just a whole shelf of Wolverine figures over there. All right. If you want more from us, and once again, why wouldn't you? You can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. Get cool exclusive bonus content, as well as help support all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. Your appreciation, or your I should say, patronage is greatly appreciated, was what I was trying to say.
Your appreciations are greatly patroned.
Appreciations from me to you are noted.
If you want also more from us, you can find us
Yeah.
over on YouTube, youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. You can read the comic along with us. You can see just how abruptly this comic book ends if you're watching along with us right now on YouTube.
It just stops. These just stop. It's crazy.
It's literally who Jib thinking heart emoji, end of issue.
Yeah. Bing, bang,
But
boom.
while you're there, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a ton getting that engagement. While you're there, please let us know, what do you think is the worst issue of the Star Wars comic we've covered thus far? Because I think there's a broad spectrum there. We didn't even talk about Jimimum Star Killer.
I will say there are, and I say this is something I say over on my other podcast, Campbell and Joe's Meet the Monsters. There are different kinds of bad.
Okay.
And so I do think it is sort of a thing about what do you think? Like, there are things that are goofy. There are things that are like damaging to character. There are things that are just lazy storytelling. There are things that are designed poorly. There's lots of different ways this comic can be quote unquote bad. So I think that is depending on but this to me, the goofiness of this really irked me. So that may just be me specifically though, that's like the brand of bad that annoys me.
Well, then, listeners, let us know in the comments below what you think. We'll have a lively debate about what the worst Star Wars comic is.
Yeah, I would be very curious to see what people's answers for that are. Because I said, we've been doing this a long time, and I can't remember everything. As you're saying, I'm like, oh, God, you're right. That was horrible. So, all right.
So, I think that's going to do it for us this week.
Indeed.
As always, I have been Mike Gargoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.